Today, we are going to have a very hot current topic, that is TRP scam. Every time you turn around, there is a new scam. If you see fraud and do not say fraud, you are a fraud. Television Rating Point, TRP, is a tool provided to judge which programs are viewed the most. This gives us an index of the choice of the people and also the popularity of a particular channel. For calculation purpose, a device is attached to the TV set in a few thousand viewers' houses. These numbers are treated as samples from the overall TV owners in different geographical and demographic sectors. It records the time and the program that a viewer watches on a particular day. Then the average is taken for a 30-day period, which gives the viewership status for a particular channel. It is the tool that tells us which channel and the program are viewed most of, or it indicates the popularity of a TV channel or a program. It shows how many times people are watching a channel or a particular program. TRP enables advertisers and investors to understand the mood of the people. According to the TRP of a TV channel or a program, advertisers decide where to display their advertisements and investors will decide about the investment of the money. TEM, Media Research, is a joint venture company between AC Nielsen and Kantar Media Research, IMRB. It is one of the two television audience measurement analysis firms of India. The company had enjoyed a monopoly in the television rating market in India till 2015. Broadcast Audience Research Council, BARC India, was being propelled as an alternate TV viewership measurement system to the incumbent. It was set up as per guidelines of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. It is mandated to design, commission, supervise and own a television audience measurement system for India and provides Indian broadcast sector with a real-time television rating points, TRP, measurement system to decide the fate of the 27,000 crore spending on TV advertising. What a scam. A scam or confidence trick is an attempt to defraud a person or group by gaining their confidence, or a clever but dishonest plan for making money. Now the question is, how in TRP scam takes place? The method is simple. The consultant gets to know the homes where the people meters that measures viewerships are located. These are meant to be anonymous homes, but the consultant manages to find out addresses. He visits the people meter homes, gives them a brand new 60-inch plasma TV and says, watch whatever you like on this lovely big TV, but on the TV attached to the people meter, you must watch this list of channels. The family also gets an additional reward at the end of the year if they have done what they were asked to do efficiently. In fact, Nielsen sent out their global head of security to India, and after a 4-month elaborate investigation, he said, I quote, I have never seen as much corruption of the Nielsen system anywhere else in the world, unquote. The matter involves not only the rupees 27,000 crores of revenue that TV channels garner from advertisers and product sellers, it also affects the more critical phenomenon of agenda-based television controlling public tastes and views. These ratings are important mainly to those who pump money into commercial advertisement on TV, as they need to ascertain who and how many are likely to be watching the various channels. The US is dominated by a private company, Nielsen, that covers some 80,000 households with its measuring devices. But as families are smaller, there the total number of viewers tracked would be considerably less than 2 lakhs. India's BARC has set up 44,000 barometers in selected television households to calibrate the choice of some 2 lakh viewers because family sizes here are larger. A constant criticism against BARC that 44,000 meters can hardly claim to represent the views of nearly 20 crores television households. That the above act of tampering with the actual collection of data by interfering and influencing the households. The persons behind these criminal acts have hatched a criminal conspiracy with the intention to interfere with the legitimate collection of data and thereby cheat others' channels, advertisers, and finally the public. And to discuss and to enlighten all of us, we have a very elite, very knowledgeable expert in the fields panel with us. I would like to invite my first guest, and he is Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, IAS. Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, IAS is the former Chief Election Commissioner of India. He is the former Director General Doordarshan. He is an Indian civil servant who served as 17th Chief Election Commissioner CEC of India. He is an IAS officer of 1971 batch from Haryana cadre. He has a PhD in communications and social marketing. He has authored a book titled An Undocumented Wonder, The Making of the Great Indian Election, a book that describes the enormity and complexity of the Indian election, and a book titled Old Delhi Living Traditions, a coffee table book on the heritage city and its social and cultural life. He figured in the Indian Express list of 100 most powerful Indians of 2011 as well as in 2012. He now pursues his interest in academics by teaching and mentoring at Cluster Innovation Center, University of Delhi, in the capacity of honorary professor at the center. He is also a current member of the International Elections Advisory Council. Dr. S.Y. Qureshi was awarded the Honorary Fellowship of the National Indian Students Union, UK, in May 2016. Welcome, Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi on our show. Dr. Qureshi, you were Chief Election Commissioner and you were the Director General of Doordarshan. You know ins and outs of all the importance of the data and especially the TRP because you have worked in the Doordarshan. Now, we would like to know from you, the term is this TRP scam, whether there is a scam or not. If yes, what is TRP and what is the scam? Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for the very generous introduction. Actually, in your opening remarks, you have very beautifully and completely described the TRP system. There is hardly anything to add. But I'll just add a little bit of perspective from my experience. This scam seems recent and contemporary. Actually, it is as old as 20 years. I was DG Doordarshan in 2002 and 3. And that is when we realized that how the public broadcaster, the Doordarshan and Prasar Bharati, we were being cheated of our due share of money. At that time, you mentioned the figure of 27,000 crore TV ad spend of today. At that point, it was 8,000 crores. And obviously, all TV channels were eyeing that money, so were we. But the way it was, we were being cheated of it, we realized soon enough. And then I started raising my voice and I almost made a fool of myself. Nobody would believe what I was saying and they would even ridicule me. In fact, one of our own colleagues in Doordarshan, Mukesh, knows a lady who was my favorite and continues to be my favorite. She even made fun of me saying, sir, by talking about it, you're providing entertainment to people like Tom and Jerry. Now, it hurt me, but it didn't allow me to change my mind about the greatness of that lady. She was otherwise a very good person. The only thing is her perception was different. Now, why was I agitated and what made me suspicious? You know, when I looked at the TRP figures, we found that the audience share of Doordarshan program was shown as only 1.5%. Now, which was blatantly and patently wrong because that was the time when 50% of India had only terrestrial TV, which means only Doordarshan. So half of India was 100% watching Doordarshan. The other half may have been watching 2% of Doordarshan. So now simple arithmetic of a class 4, 100 out of 100 in half the country, 2 out of 100 in the other half. So that makes it 102. Divided by 2, it is 51%. Now 51% of India was watching only Doordarshan. 49% was watching 200 other or 500 other channels. Now, in that situation, to be described as a small player with 1% audience and being given ad according to that was patently fraudulent. So I raised my voice against it, and secondly, I wanted to understand how TRP works. I can bet, Mr. Goel, that most of your listeners, most of your panel, and including Mukesh and you, Mr. Goel, have you seen a people meter? You haven't. I have. In fact,
No,
nobody
I
has
have
seen
not
it.
seen.
Because I was very curious. So what I did was I called the stamp people you to protest, and I said, "So please install a people meter on my television in the DG Doordarshan's office. I want to see how it works." Now, what I saw was very revealing. First, a technician came, and he opened. I had a big Sony television that was the biggest those days. So he opened the cover, the back cover, using a screwdriver, and from people meter, two wires came which were soldered onto the tuner of the TV. Now, the moment your screwdriver touches the television, you lose your warranty. Now, why will any volunteer? It has to be, the person who is installing people meter in his house is supposed to be a volunteer. Why will you volunteer to do that for social service by losing your warranty? Now, second thing, more important, how does it work? It is like a set-top box of television, which everybody is familiar with. And it has a remote control like television, which everybody is familiar with. The only difference in this remote is that a button is assigned to each member of the family. Husband is one, wife is two, the children and the servant. And what is expected is that when there is only one TV in the home, or normally, you're watching the TV, and when the husband comes, he presses his button. When the wife comes, she presses her button. But when the wife goes back to the kitchen, she should press the button again, notifying that I'm not watching it anymore. I'm not in the room anymore. And then after half an hour, she comes back again. She should press the button again. Oh, look, now I'm back. Now, this kind of a stupid game, who will play? Not even the poor people. So who had the time to keep on pressing the button? I tried to do it for a day and a half, and I got so fed up, then I threw away the remote. I said, whatever channel is on or whatever is happening, but in the process, I got to know how it works. Secondly, the technician who used to come, he had to collect a card from the set-top box, which has the data. He used to come twice a week in the afternoon. So initially I asked him, do you pay any money to people who install this? He said, no, sir, no question. But after a few samosas and a few cups of tea, he became my friend. And then he told me the truth that the cat was out of the bag. He said, actually, we don't pay cash, but we pay them in kind. We give them a pressure cooker or a dinner set. And as we discovered later, and as you rightly pointed out, even a new TV set, brand new TV set, look, this is the TV you use for whatever you want to watch. And this is the TV on which meter is installed for doing the fraud along with us. Right. So this is the reality of the working of the people meter. So nobody will keep on operating it day in and day out that I'm coming in, going out, coming in, going out. Because what time reports to you, who was watching them? 15 to 18 age group, a woman, and what time of the day, for how many minutes did they watch? Total fraud. It cannot happen. Even a person who, according to Mumbai police, was getting paid 400 rupees a month, even if it is 4,000 a month, who has the time to keep playing this game of pressing the button on and off? Now, secondly, why do advertisers advertise so that people buy? And what will they buy? Sorry, I'll ask for what. Now, what will they buy? The kind of product I'm interested in. You will probably be buying a BMW and a Mercedes car, which is also being advertised on television. Or somebody will be buying soap or toothpaste, which everybody. Now, they used to have what is called socio-economic classification, SEC, A, B, C, D, E. A being the richest, E being the poorest. Now, for 400 rupees a month, would you like to install this meter, Mr. Goel? Or Mukesh, would you install it for 400 rupees a month?
No
Or
question.
4,000 rupees a month? Or even 40,000 a month? You will not. So, which means these meters were installed only in the poorest of the poor homes. And on the basis of the data, BMW is being sold. The guy who is getting paid 400 rupees a month as discovered by Mumbai police, and you are projecting the sale of luxury cars. So the system was total fraud, and I'm glad that it has been exposed and it comes to light. Now, what we need to understand that you use the word monopoly. That is the very important thing. Hardly anybody remembers the important fact that, but it happened in my time in Doordarshan, that in the initial month there used to be two such agencies. One was called TAM, the other was called INTAM. And every week these two agencies were giving different figures, totally opposite figures. So TAM got annoyed and they bought up INTAM. And after buying that thing, and they were very clever, they coined a new term. There used to be many currencies, now there is a single currency. It sounded like a very fancy term, and even so-called experts, I will tell Mukesh the names of those so-called experts who thought they were God's gift to mankind in technology. Even they bought the concept of a single. At that time, I used to give an analogy. That was the time when, Mumbai terror was at its peak. And these terror groups used to attack each other. And because of that, police were able to catch them. Because they were fighting each other, they were exposing each other. It was like TAM and INTAM exposing each other. Now, once, suppose these Dawood, Ibrahim and Gauli become one group, one single currency, then God save us. Then it will be impossible to catch them. Now, this was nothing short of cartelization of the worst kind. Now, what was Monopolies and Restricted Trade Commission, now called the Competition Commission? That should have come in. But it didn't happen. Now, I'll finish on one more episode. Mukesh will remember.
Yeah.
When Mr. K. Sarma, who was our CEO of Prasar Bharati, who also did not agree with me, but to satisfy me, he organized a meeting of 10 top advertisers of the country, who are all in Mumbai, of course, Colgate and other, the big companies. And so that we have a meeting. Nielsen guy, TAM guy was also there, and I was there. We both presented our case. I asked them, look, it is your money, 8,000 crores, which we are eyeing. 8,000 crores, which we are all eyeing. Now, it is your money. You have to, are you not bothered whether it is going into the right hands or it is being fraudulently captured by others? So their reply was, horrified me. They say, we have to go by some figures. Now, some figure, I said, if those some figures are fraudulent, would you not examine these figures clinically? You can't go by general impressions. So they had no answer. And then I say again, then I asked the second thing. I said, do you know how this system works? And interestingly, if you give me 2 minutes, I asked them. I don't know whether Mukesh was there in that meeting or not.
I was there, sir. I was there.
So I asked them. I asked those 10 gentlemen. I said, okay, gentlemen, have you bought a television recently? Somebody raised his hand. Yes, I have. I said, should I tell you which television you have bought? He says, tell me. I said, you have bought Sony. A couple of TVs were which anybody would, rich man would like to. So I said, you bought this Sony 20 weeks. Would you like to lose your warranty? And this is how you lose your warranty? He said, no question. Secondly, I said, twice a week a man comes to your bedroom to collect the data, where maybe I should not use this analogy, but I used it then. I said, look, for instance, I have my non-working wife at home. She's the only one at home, and somebody comes twice a week in the afternoon, goes to the bedroom to collect the data. Is that a nice, pleasant thought? Not at all. So I said, this is how the data is collected, and will you be a party to it? He said, no. I said, then at least now think, because your money should go to the right place, like Doordarshan with 51% share. So nothing happened, and it continued. Of course, occasionally I heard ZTV was making noise at that time. a couple of channels which had got the hint of it started making noise, but it didn't make any difference. Till 2008 when it came up in Parliament. And that is when BARC was set up and they were handed, this is industry-led organization, and they were handed this program, but the system continues. What TAM was doing till 2015, the BARC started operating in 2015. What TAM was doing till then, BARC is doing now, but the methodology, the technique, and the system and the people meter is exactly the same. You mentioned 44,000 meters. Now, I don't care whether 44,000 or 4,000, but it has to be honest, because all these 44,000 are bogus. If they were genuine, good scientific, honest sample can give you an idea of the entire country. But people, they were carried away and they say, 44,000 is not enough. Okay, I say I make it 4 lakh. Will you be satisfied? I will not be, because and of course, now what is the solution? Maybe I should stop and wait for you to ask me questions. And otherwise it becomes a kind of a lecture.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. And Dr. Qureshi has clearly mentioned and explained very clearly how it works. First thing he asked, whether I have seen or anyone has seen this meter. The reply is very clearly no. And he has also mentioned that when he was in 2002-2003, when he was the head of the Doordarshan, he has checked up. At that time, the rating has come, which is about 2% for the Doordarshan. And he says how it is possible when the Doordarshan at that time is covering 50%, 100%, the 50% because there are no signals of other channels are good reaching. So it means 100% viewership was of the Doordarshan, and the rest 50%, yes, others are viewing. So he says, okay, others are 2%. So it works out to be 46%. But the figure was giving 2%. So he says this is not a new scam, it's a very old scam. And he has explained all the things, and he says whatsoever name has been changed from TAM to BARC, it makes no difference. The methodology is same, whether it's 44,000 sets or more, it makes no difference, and the fraud is committed. Now my question to you, Professor Dr. Qureshi, do you think it is only for the advertising money the police is investing, or there is something more? Because if you, and I know you know far more than all of us, if you see the share pattern of the holdings of these channels, the holdings are by somewhere connected with the listed companies. And once the profit goes to a company which is the holding company, will definitely the share price will go up. So it is not only the 27,000 crore rupees scam, it can be in lakhs of crores of scam, because the money because suppose A is holding the B network or B television channel. Now A is a listed company in the stock exchange. Now, once because of the fraudulent means, the B is gaining more and more viewership, it means it is getting more and more advertisement revenue. Once the B is getting more and more advertisement revenue, definitely the share price of A will increase, because A is holding the shares in B, a majority shares or a major chunk of shares. Definitely the A is getting the benefit directly and selling the shares and or pledging the shares and getting the money benefit of that share market. So it is not only a fraud with the investors, but with the viewers, with the advertisers, but with the investors in the share company. That is one question, number one. And number two question is, DAVP releases the ads from the government side. Now, whether they are also considering this rating or not, because if one channel, A channel is having a rating of 2% and other channel is having rating of 6%, will they give the same number of ads to both the channels or more, and the rate of the A and B will be same or not? Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, please.
Yeah, Mr. Goel, you are extremely knowledgeable, I must say, and you have brought out a very important point. although I had pointed out in my article in the Indian Express, there are two dimensions. One is the financial fraud. The other is ethical and legal fraud on the right to information of the people. That any media, TV channel or a newspaper should be telling me the truth. This is my fundamental right. And they should not feeding me disinformation fraudulently. So there are two offences being committed, and I hope that Mumbai police will go into both of them. Probably the immediate provocation was only the manipulation of the audience, but its impact on the fraud on the stock market, you have brought out very beautifully, and this is extremely important. And even the ethical issue and the legal issue which I pointed out, obviously a channel which is able to project itself as the highly watched channel will based on created manufactured eyeballs will start getting genuine eyeballs also. If I get to know the channel is doing so well, I'll also be tempted to go to that, but all based on fraud. So, and just to increase their TRP, the kind of hate speech and the hate narrative they are promoting, that gets promoted indirectly, and that is the more serious dimension according to me. Money, 27,000 crore in a big country like ours may not be, may be peanuts, but it is the ethical and legal fraud which is being committed through this mechanism that is of more consequence, and I hope it will be a part of the investigation.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Qureshi. And the last, because you told me that you have to go, and I know that you are a very busy person. What are your suggestions to the government and advice to public?
Although in my article in Indian Express, I had offered a solution, but actually in my deep thinking, I think it is only a part solution. Because now in 20 years, the situation, things have changed, the technology has changed. Now we have a direct-to-home television in 70%, 80% of the home, and there is a set-top box. And exactly what channel I'm actually genuinely watching is perhaps being recorded, or in any case can be recorded by tweaking the set-top box slightly. But that doesn't solve the problem only partially. We will know which home is genuinely watching which channel from what time to what time. But who is sitting in the room and watching? Children, women, so that because the product advertising has to be programmed for them. Now that cannot be found out through that means. That can be found out only in the old time Russia, when the proverb used to be that you think you are watching the television, actually it is the television who is watching you. Now, if such a situation is technically possible, that TV can be, there may be an inbuilt secret camera in all television and you don't even know, or in the set-top box and they are watching everything that you do and who's coming, who's going. Now, how will we solve the problem of the specific targets, audience segments? That solution is not yet in my mind. But one solution which does come to my mind is, again, from my experience in history, TAM and INTAM. The fact that TAM and INTAM used to throw up totally different or opposite data. Perhaps the answer lies in creating, breaking the monopoly. Let there be at least 4 companies, if not 6 or 8 companies. And when all of them will be throwing up different data, then they will also be bothered about the credibility of their data, and they will try and be honest and let the advertiser decide. Look, A company is bogus, I don't like their data. B company perhaps is honest, let me go by their data. That will answer the question which was raised by those 10 top advertisers. Okay, we have to go by some figures. Well, we give you a set of 4 alternative figures or 6 alternative figures. So there are 2 ways. One is that you give them the alternative sets of data and let people choose, advertiser choose. Or secondly, our regulator, the independent regulator, can aggregate all of them. And that aggregate, because 1 or 2 may be cheating, but the other may be honest, at least the aggregate will bring out the truth. So perhaps that is the kind of solution they should look at. But you are such a deep thinker, Mr. Goel, probably you will a better solution. Or maybe you can comment on my question.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Qureshi. In the last, I would like to just add one thing. We don't have any regulatory board as far as these news media is concerned. Why not government have a regulatory board like your election commission, independent? After all, we says the media is the fourth pillar of democracy. Where is the fourth pillar? Who is guiding them? It's a self-regulatory. Now, self-regulatory, you know that they are having no teeth. If they issue a notice or show cause, it makes hardly any difference. But if we will have, because you being the CEC of India, you know the power of the election commission. Why not we have a autonomous body or a totally independent body for the media on whole? What you say about this, Professor Qureshi?
Well, although in the context of media, any government regulation normally is not acceptable. People don't even want to hear it for a moment. And I would also go along with that. That government regulation is a certain no-no. Self-regulation is ideal but utopian. It can only be wished, it can never happen. One example I used to give, I was also a member of National Broadcasting Standards Authority of India, which is the creation of a News Broadcasters Association. So since it is a product and the creation of NBA, so NBSA becomes a self-regulatory industries mechanism. At the same time, it is an independent mechanism because the first chairman was our redoubtable former Chief Justice, Justice J.S. Verma. He said that I'll come in, I'll become the chairman only if you guarantee me total non-interference. I will prove no interference from you. So, and they said, all right. And the kind of guideline NBSA framed. I was this member for 7 years. And I can vouch, not once did the NBA try to influence us. Not once. Once, they were tempted to. Once they called a meeting because some of our judgments were going against some of their members. So members were getting uneasy. And they called a meeting in the guise of a kind of a social get-together. But they wanted to chide us, to reprimand us for giving hostile judgment. I sense the mood where our Justice Ravin, too gentle a man. I'm not. I say, look, if you guys have come to chide us or reprimand us, you forget about it, wind up the commission today, we are leaving. You cannot tell us what kind of judgments you want. If it is like if Supreme Court is giving anti-government judgments and the government expresses its displeasure, if you come to express your displeasure, we want to get out right now. No, that's not what we want. And then, they backed off. And I must appreciate after that they didn't even make such an attempt and there was no interference. But the limitation was, as you pointed out, the membership was voluntary. And when we took action against some channels, they walked out. Now, we cannot take action against non-members. And these non-members, the rogue channels, we could do nothing about. That is when government can come in through regulation that every channel will compulsorily be controlled or come under the jurisdiction of this authority. So similar kind of arrangement can be considered. Now TRAI is already there. Maybe TRAI can be given a mandate. Their mandate can be tweaked a little. But that TRAI is totally government. Or no, not really. It's not totally government. It is an autonomous body like the Election Commission. Created by an act of parliament and with independence, so much so that TRAI chairman, after his retirement, cannot take up any other government job to ensure his neutrality. So maybe we could work around strengthening TRAI as an independent and fair regulator.
Okay, thank you very much. Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, for giving your very, very important time and important advices and your insight of this particular thing, what is TRP and what is the TRP scam, because viewers are very much confused. They feel that only by paying 200 or 400 rupees, why we are making so hue and cry. But as you have mentioned very clearly, it's not only 200 and 400, it's a very, very big thing. And not only the financial, it impacts the entire country socially, economically, and otherwise also. Thank you very much. Yes, you want to say.
Mr. Goel, yeah, although you have now given me freedom to leave, but I'm very curious to get some feedback from some of the participants. So I'll quietly leave without formal permission, which you have already given me. But allow me to continue for a few more minutes.
That will be my pleasure, because you only told me, that's why. Anyway, now, thank you.
Lot of work to do, but I'm also very curious to get the feedback on maybe what I think is a bright idea may not be so bright after all, because there are bright minds.
Yes. I think now. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. Now I would like to take some legal view about this, because you have given from your side of the Doordarshan as well as from the government side, what the government has done at that time. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Advocate Deepak Dhingra. Advocate Deepak Dhingra is the proprietor of Law Linkers and Company in New Delhi. Advocate Deepak Dhingra is practicing in Supreme Court and appeared in almost all the high courts in India. He has vast experience in handling arbitration matters, including international arbitrations, and have been involved in many leading arbitration matters within the country and abroad. He also appears in tribunals and commissions. Welcome, Advocate Deepak Dhingra on our show.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
I would just like to say one thing. I asked the question to Professor Qureshi. The question was whether we are looking only for a small advertisement money, which private advertisers are spending, because one view is that private advertisers are very clever enough. They are knowledgeable, because if, as Professor Qureshi mentioned, that this scam is going on for last so many years. So we cannot take lightly about the intelligence or the knowledge of those private advertisers, because they are all corporate groups. They know about this thing. Or there is a big thing, big scam, as I pointed out, whether it's a stock manipulation thing or something which Professor Qureshi says to change the mindset of the particular country or the particular community. So we would like to know what is the legal things, what you think that this, as you have started about the Mumbai police. So we would like to know about the legality aspect of this. Advocate Deepak Dhingra, please.
You see, as far as the legality aspect is concerned, please appreciate, Mr. Goel, that we have got a complaint, an FIR registered, which was about on 6th of October, if I go by the media reports. Now, it's too earlier part of the investigation, because today, please mind you, we are living in a commercial world. Every scam, whether it relates to any issue, TRP, drugs, or whatever, has got some implications in the corporate world. Because you see, please appreciate, the corporate world is basically interwoven in the entire system. Everybody operates companies. Everybody has got heavy stakes, financial stakes, and other stakes with the companies. So every scam of every issue which occurs, whether on media or not on the media, has got financial implications as far as corporate sector is concerned. So as far as this is concerned, well, I say any scam is a matter of fact. If it's a scam, if you call it a scam, because I couldn't hear Professor Qureshi fully. Rather, he was saying that if I'm not mistaken, and he'll correct me if I'm not. He says, listen, it may not be a scam. It has been going on, if I'm not mistaken, and Professor Qureshi will correct me here. I think the later part of what I heard was that this has been going on. The TRP rating has been going on.
No, I will just correct you. What he said, that yes, this is going on for many years, 20 years, because he was the Director General of the Doordarshan in 2002. At that time also it was going on, and he is giving the example also. Yes.
Correct. That's what I said, that he said 2002 or 2003, it is about 17 or 18 years from now. So this was going on at that time. It may not at that time have such a vast financial implications, and may not have all the corporate world or the listing and that part of the, where the listing of the company gets involved, and maybe corporate entities are there who want this scam or who are perpetrator of this scam. because of their own financial, because of the share market, which is so, well, for that reason, I really can't say, but I think let the police investigate the matter. Quite possible that there are implications which take the reins to the corporate world. And well, we can't really say that they'll be called proceeds of crime. Because you see, supposedly I ask a question to myself. Supposedly a company has gained by this. Let's take it that the share price was rupees 100 and now it became 120. Now let's take it that this company did inside trading. So when it did inside trading, it let's say made 80 rupees. Let's take it for a minute. Now this 80 rupees undoubtedly is proceeds of crime. But as far as supposedly I am a stakeholder, I am a public, because the share prices became 100 to 120 and I also made rupees 2 in the share market, that cannot be called proceeds of crime because I'm unrelated.
But Advocate Dhingra, it is not only the minority shares because they are the major stakeholders of the company.
Sir, I appreciate. Sir, as far as the majority shareholders are concerned, please appreciate the fact that in the event they with the knowledge, traded in the shares, did inside trading, taking advantage of the share price having accelerated due to the scam, then it can be called the proceeds of crime. But supposedly, I am a general public or maybe a minority shareholder, I trade into shares and make money out of it, where I am not a party to all what is happening, then undoubtedly that money you can't take it from me, sir.
Yeah, no, that's true. But
so please appreciate the fact.
As far as those who are having major stake in the company,
and they took advantage.
Yeah, of course, because the share price has gone up.
Knowingly, intentionally.
Then
also they were participants, They are one of the promoters. If they are one of the promoters of the company, that's right.
Of the channel.
Please appreciate. I appreciate, sir. But being a promoter is one part. But promoting this sort of crime for the purpose of escalation in shares is totally different. I may be a promoter, but I'm promoting the company. I'm not promoting a crime. So you have to link me, or the police or the investigating agency has to link me with the promotion of the company as also promotion and perpetuation of the crime. And the proceeds which I have got because of this perpetuation will be called the proceeds of crime. So every money which gets involved in the financial sector or other sector cannot be proceeds of crime. Otherwise, it will be totally untraceable.
Okay.
This will not be a scam of total, of the velocity what we're talking of, but this will become international scam because those corporate sector also maybe have international companies who have invested.
Yes.
So those also get involved. So please mind you, it will start from the trading sector at Mumbai, at a small name where the market is there, and it will reach international sector. So we really can't have this kind of financial implications and call every money which gets generated.
But
as
one thing is there now. The Mumbai police has involved the EOW, that is Economic Offence Wing, because of they know that this is having some economic complications and those things implications. That's why they have involved now. So according to you, when this is the situation, will it termed as a crime, even if we will not take the corporate sector right now, whether the manipulation of these types of rating is a crime or not?
Sir, in case you go for the rating, well, per se it's not a crime. But then if you go for manipulating the ratings for the purpose of making financial gains, you see why, now tell me, you see in 1980s, I mean the people born in 1960s, 70s, they are aware, and of course the learned participants also aware, till late 80s, we hardly had one channel called Doordarshan. Then early 19s, we started with opening of the entire media sector. Today we have got national, international, as also state channels. We even have lost the count of these number of channels today. So having said this, please mind you that as far as this is concerned, EOW will undoubtedly investigate into it. But in case if a channel promotes itself for the purpose of enhancing the rating, it's a usual business. I take it. But for the purpose, in case it involves financial implications and they do it purposely, then undoubtedly it invites a crime. So for that reason, EOW will do its job. In fact, we are hardly on the 8th or 9th day of investigation. And let the investigation be complete and we'll come to know of all these implications later part of the investigation will be the news media. In fact, it will be the news media because they are fighting among one another. Please mind you, it is the news channels which are fighting among one another, making allegations every day in the morning and every day throughout the day. So please mind you, we'll come to know of it. After all, they will expose one another in this process. They are not going to sleep over it. So this issue may not die down, the death which we're looking for, like in other matters. So one channel or the other channel who are competitors will undoubtedly expose the entire thing, whether it's economics or whether it's TRP or whatever.
Okay. Thank you very much, Advocate Deepak Dhingra.
I'm so sorry, I can only add this part of it because Professor Qureshi and of course Dr. Mukesh Sharma have been part and parcel of the industry. I have not been part and parcel of this industry, so I will not be able to comment more further on this aspect of the scam.
Okay. Thank you very much, Advocate Deepak Dhingra. Now, definitely we would like to go. Yes, Professor Qureshi, please.
Mukesh is part of the industry, but not part of the fraud. Let me clarify.
Okay. Yes.
Now,
Definitely.
Mr. Goel, since you are doing such an in-depth story, and I see a possible solution coming out from your discussion, which we will probably carry forward. There was one more dimension which I had noticed, and I would like to bring to your notice. It is not just a question of 2,000 or 44,000 people meters and 44,000 homes, but also in the number of cities. What happened in our time, there were only 12 cities. For instance, suppose it is, we wanted to know what is the audience like in Punjab. So they'll pick up just one city, let us say Ludhiana. Now, if I get to know which city they have installed the people meter, this information was money for me. What I will do is that I'll flood Ludhiana with genuine advertising, hoardings all over, this program doing well so much, Star Plus, Saal Bhi Kabhi Bahut Hi, everyone watching. Genuinely, I'll create a media hype, totally legal, but totally unethical. Because within the parameters of law, I'm doing something to manipulate the targeted audience. So therefore, this knowledge of number of cities where exactly this is happening, and whether that kind of manipulation is happening. In fact, I have these big people, big media buyers and media planners in Mumbai. I said, do you get carried away by this hawa jo banati hai propaganda se? You know, after all, we are also human. जब हम उतरते हैं बम्बई एयरपोर्ट पे, एयरपोर्ट से लेके गेटवे ऑफ इंडिया तक जब हम होर्डिंग देखते हैं स्टार प्लस की, तो हम भी समझते हैं कि वो सबसे अच्छी है. Now, if this was the reaction of media expert, media buyers, media planners, imagine how public mind can be influenced by this disinformation, unethical but legally achieved. So I think you should make that a part of your investigation also.
Okay, thank you, Professor Qureshi.